Hey guys, how are we all doing? So Dan from Trading with Dan here. This is our Bitcoin evening wrap. So if you guys wouldn't mind smashing that like button, and we will go straight over to those Bitcoin charts. So I think what we'll first do, we'll try and get a bit of positivity in the room, and we'll change the lights back to green. Green. We're gonna go green. There we go. We changed the lights back to green. I'll change my my desk light back to green also. There we go. There we go. Everything's going to turn around now. But anyway, so let's have a look at the chart. So what has happened? What has happened? We dropped out of the channel. We've lost this trend line. We basically have three levels of support here. Three main ones before obviously the drop to 14k. We've got this one here. We had this one here and then this one here. So as it stands, we are bouncing off this this one here. As it stands, we can only really assume this is a dead cat bounce. Gonna hit the underside of this resistance, get rejected, and come back down. That has to be that has to be our current assumption. Obviously, that assumption will be nullified by basically a break and a close above this level, so above 7,000. We'll call it 7,800. Basically a break above and a close of a 4-hour candle above 7,800, and then we are good to go, good to play in this range again. But obviously until that happens, we are working. I mean, it's only sensible to work on the assumption that we are going to see further downside. Obviously, we are at a level where we can get supported. It would look fine within the context of the trend thus far. But we have to obviously put in establish a low, and at the moment it's it is looking pretty dicey, to say the least. Obviously, we should be aware that this isn't necessarily even that important a level, in all fairness. I mean, this is our next major level, and this level here has probably got a lot more confluence than this level here. So we are sort of in a bit of an area where it could just go either way, really. But my personal bias, unless we break and hold above 7,800, is that we will be more likely to see downside. So I guess that does sound a bit of a silly thing to say. Unless we go up, I think we'll go down. But that's just basically how you trade, isn't it? You play your confirmations. You wait for the market to hit your triggers, and obviously a bullish trigger, close above 7,800, and until we do that, we are in the midst of a down move. So yeah, I mean, the way the bulls were coming at me the other day in the comments and messages saying that I shouldn't talk about Bitcoin going down. I mean, those were the signs, weren't they? Those were the signs. The three drives of bearish divergence on higher time frames also, those were the signs. So on that basis, it only has to be like a healthy correction. This literally could be the level. We could break back above 7,800, then just trade sideways in here. Like no problem with that at all. Or we could trade lower. We could trade in this range, in this half of this lower side range, or we could trade in the lower half of this range if we do drop further. But all of those price points are still going to leave Bitcoin macro bullish. So there is no like immediate concern really that should be had. Over to the DXY, not when we've got this happening anyway, not when we've got a potential collapse in the dollar. It does just look like a nice correction in crypto that is going to preceded by all-time highs when this dollar does basically break down and start aggressively selling. We can see from the Bitcoin dominance, it's just a nice pullback to basically about in the midpoint where we have rejected from. So you would expect this to keep coming down now, take out this low and continue. The same with the Ethereum Bitcoin pairing. Well, it's not quite the same. It's basically had a pullback, a nice bounce, had an extended move down, hit a very important level, had a bounce off that level, looked like it attempted to tag this level, may still tag this level, but then we could turn back down here and come back down, just a healthy bounce there. Ethereum US dollar, well, this is obviously a little bit more problematic. just with the ferocity of the move down. But we are at a level where we can get supported around, so putting a base here, we can turn this around as well. So in all reality, nothing is looking that particularly bad. It just looked like we got a bit overextended finally in some of the metrics, and we just needed a pullback. So that is certainly what we got, down to basically the low 16,000s from basically the high 19,000s. So it's only a small matter of a 4K dump. Let's just measure it from top to bottom just so we can just get a good idea. Yeah. 17% it is on the lower sorry, it is on the lower side of a correction within a nice bull market. I mean, they can definitely be like 25 to 30%, but I don't really want to talk about fundamentals. But yeah, I mean, we do have obviously massive dollar depreciation and just crazy asset inflation. So there is, I mean, you could argue that this dump is definitely enough on this basis, and then yeah, if we break above 20k, get to like say 23, 24, 25k, we could then see potentially a bigger than a 17% pullback. But at the moment, if this was it, and we actually just played within this range for a while, that would not be that just would be fine price action wise with me. I wouldn't look at it as any sort of questionable price action. So let's have a look at the stochastics then. Finally, the stochastics. Would you look at that 4 hour all the way down there? Not been this deep for a while. 4 hour did pretty much telegraph the move as well. 10 hour coming down nicely as well. 12 hour, there we go, fully and formally broken, done, on our way down in the purple zone. This is obviously problematic. You could expect this to come down all the way to the bottom. It may not do though. We are in a still in a macro bull market, but yeah, this may be a drag on price, or it may just be a well, I can't really call it a bullish reset when we've had a 4k move from the high, nearly a 4k move down from the high. But yeah, I mean, this could be having a reset after all this pent up basically well, energy. Daily as well, looking like it wants to come down into the zone. 2 day looking like it wants to turn down. I mean, the higher time frames as well looking like they're crossing over. But yeah, like I would say, we are in a macro bull trend. These can reset, and then price action can very realistically just trade sideways in a range, and it would look fine. And often how Bitcoin moves, that first initial move can often be the low, and then we just trade sideways and eventually break back up basically. We have got to look at that weekly 9 candle. Just look at the beauty that is a TD sequential. You have basically, well, we don't really count that one, but it was a red candle. But yeah, 1 candle, 2 candle, 3 candle, 4 candle, 5 candle, 6 candle, 7 nice green weekly candles. Get to the 9 at macro resistance, all-time high levels, and then have a big red candle. So far. Obviously, we've got 3 days left, so that is still we are still more than halfway through this candle. 5 days as well, looks beautiful as well. TD sequential wise, we had extension on the 9, indecision candle, and then the sell-off. Yeah, TD sequential. Yeah, just proving its worth. Proving its ability to help us make informed decisions. So yeah, not a lot else to say, guys, really. I know that a lot of people are panicking. I know a lot of people are not panicking. I think this is just the dip they've been waiting to buy. Obviously, that battle between the panickers and the sellers and the bears and the people that are happy to buy at these levels. Bearing in mind, we have got a lot of people wanting to buy these levels, including apparently now big corporations that just think it's better to hold Bitcoin rather than cash on their balance sheets. So we have got that buying aspect. We have got obviously a weakening dollar. We have just got general asset price inflation. Yeah, I mean, I struggle to see a bear market. I mean, I literally would struggle to see an actual bear market starting based off this being the high. But it does not mean that this doesn't have to be, this has to be the low. But it very well could be. But it very well could be. So a lot of unhelpful if, buts, and maybes there for you. I guess we are in the middle of a trend. I was obviously more confident of saying we were extended here at resistance. Stochastics looking tired, and 3 drives of bearish diversions in the RSI, and that we were looking top here. I was more happy calling that, and watching for a move down at least to the bottom of this range, but we did get further. But at present, at the moment, I mean, I don't have as clear a picture as to whether we'll continue or whether we'll move back up. Obviously, you guys know the level for confirmation for more potential upside, and I guess it is relatively simple to look at a continuation to the downside as just simply a 4-hour close below this level of resistance of support here. At which point I would expect. Well, at least at the very least this level here. But yeah, maybe we even break down into this zone over time. So yeah, that is it, guys. Yeah, all is not lost. All is not lost. Bitcoin likes to have these bullish dumps, doesn't it? So yeah, break above 7,800 onwards and upwards will likely be the scenario after some sideways consolidation. But we are with big numbers, we are talking big ranges, we are talking wild moves. So yeah, I mean, all I would say, guys, is just try and maybe go to the 4-hour, maybe zoom out a little, rather than try and get all too caught up on their smaller time frames, because they are just more difficult. I just find them more difficult to predict. You are better off just looking at a larger time frame, and just picking your trades, basically picking your trades, guys. So that is it, guys. Remember, thank you for listening. This is not a financial advice. I am not a financial advisor. Always do your own research, and I will speak to you guys in the morning.